What's up? Y'all hear the Johnny Cash in the background? I don't know if y'all can hear that or not. Um, but I am an old school country music guy, man. 70s, 80s, early 90s. That's my shit, man. That's my shit right there. Um, a lot of the times when I'm doing my TTMs, either I'm listening to old school country music or watching old school wrestling matches on YouTube. Um, so that's that. You guys got to forgive me, man. I'm sick. I've been sick as hell. I was sick yesterday. Today was much worse. So I keep getting really extreme dry throat from all the talking from the last video and now this one. So this video I will not be showing any cards. I got 6 or 7 in today. So I'll make that hopefully if I get more stuff in tomorrow or the next day, I'll make a video. I don't want to burn you guys out on seeing my ugly mug. So I try to minimize the videos. But this video is to ask, or not to ask, but to answer the question, why do I collect what I collect? I get asked that question quite frequently. I get asked probably 2 or 3 times after a typical TTM video. And then if I don't shoot a video in a week or two, I probably get it asked once or twice in those weeks. And it happens all the time. And so instead of writing all you guys back, 2, 3 paragraphs, what have you, I'll just make a video. God dang, man, it's gonna suck. So why do I collect what I collect? We'll go down a list and then I'll go. I got Houston football, Houston sports, Alabama card set, golf set, country music, and then I had someone specifically ask me about the Expos Marlins and Seattle Pilots 8x10s. So we'll go through this. Houston football, Houston Gamblers, Houston Oilers, and Houston Texans. As a native Texan, was born and raised. I was born in Houston, Texas, and then I was raised about 10 minutes directly south in a town called Pearland, Texas. Dude, football's everything there, man. I mean, everything. And so, I couldn't think. If I had to PC just one thing, it would be Houston football. It wouldn't be the Oilers or Titans, or excuse me, I hate that fucking word, Titans. It wouldn't be the Oilers, Texans, or Gamblers. It would be Houston football. So that's that. Enough said there. Houston sports. Growing up in high school, my aunt was single. She was probably in her 40s then. Recently divorced. She didn't have any kids of her own, so she treated her nieces and nephews, like her own children. So man, we went to Houston Arrows, which was a minor league hockey team we had. She had season tickets for those. She had 20-game mini packages for the Houston Astros. And then back in 92, 93, the Houston Rockets, they were the doo-doo, man. They were winning championships. Hakeem the Dream, Clyde Drexler, all them dudes, man. Who else? Mario Elie, Sam Cassell, Robert Horry. So, I collect them. Or I collect Houston sports, not because I'm from Houston, even though that's a part of it. It's mainly because, my childhood as a whole, man, I'll put my childhood up against anyone's, man. My shit was on point, man. I had a great childhood. And so a lot of my TTMing I do as a way to kind of bring me back to my youth. I'm only 31 now, so I've been around the block maybe one time. Not very much, but I've been around enough that I have memories of my youth. So I try to TTM to kind of bring me back to that stuff, because right now my parents, my mom and dad, aunt, and all them good people are still alive and kicking and still doing well, but one day they won't be with me, and I'll have TTMs that I'll see on a daily basis in my man cave, and it'll just bring me back to that memory. I have stuff just sitting here on my desk I have a Houston Rockets basketball card right there, and I see it, and I don't think of the player. I think of, where I was when they were winning championships and all that good stuff. So, oh my God, that's why I do that. Alabama football, the Alabama football card set. Um, I guess I got into it because Big Fish here on YouTube, he's a huge Alabama fan. He lives in Alabama, and he started doing that set. And I seen it, and I have a brother-in-law that I'm pretty close to, and he's from Alabama, and he's not a sports guy, as in, he might know the name of the quarterback, and of course he knows obviously Nick Saban, but he may not know the running back and the wide receivers, but he watches Alabama football all the time, but he doesn't go any further than the TV. And so I was trying to get that whole set signed, and then I was just going to give it to him. So I think what I'm going to do now is I'm going to keep the set for myself. But I sent out those team photos I showed you guys 2 or 3 videos back, and I sent two of those out to different Alabama guys, and I asked them to sign to Pat. My brother-in-law's name is Pat. Oh my God. So that's kind of where I got that, and I didn't get hot and heavy into that until I was stationed in Pensacola, Florida, which is about 10 minutes to the Alabama border. And man, you want to talk about freaking sports towns? Dude, you go into freaking Alabama and talk about some Roll Tide and War Eagle. Oh my God, son. There is no Major League team, no NFL team, no NBA team, hockey team that bleeds that sport like Alabama, man. Like, you seen the ESPN commercial where they're like walking in and out of stores and they're like, Roll Tide? And if you've never been in that area, you might think that's a fucking joke. That's not a joke, people. I can't even tell you how many times I was in Alabama, and I would go up to Little Johnny's freaking convenience store, local convenience store, and I'd check out and I'd be leaving. He'd be like, "Hey, have a good day, Roll Tide." Bye, dude. I'm like, I don't know what to say. I'm not a huge Tide fan, so I'm not going to say Roll Tide back. But that's kind of how I got into the Alabama set. A golf set. My grandfather, who passed early last year, that dude meant a lot to me, man. I mean, a lot. He's part of the reason I'm in the military. He served 20 years in the Navy as a doctor. And he was always very structured, man. And he always had a reason for doing what he did. But he was a golfer, and when I was 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, maybe 13, somewhere around all those ages, during the summer I'd go to my grandparents for about a month, and they only lived like 30 minutes away from me. But he'd always put me in a golf camp that lasted like a week or two. And then after the golf camp, every day he'd drop me off on his golf cart. He'd pick me up on his golf cart, and then he would want me to show him what I learned that day. So that's the only reason that I'm doing that set, man, is it truly reminds me of my grandpa, man. Every time I write a letter, every time I get a TTM in, and I'm looking this way because the set's right there looking at me, and it's sitting on my desk, so every time I just see that silver box, I'm thinking my grandpa, man. So, yeah, we'll get off that subject. Kind of a touchy subject for me, man. He was a great man. Great man. Country music. Yeah, you guys see, I get all giddy, man, when I get like a country music guy in. You'll never see me send like Rascal Flatts or Hunter Hayes or none of that shit they play. And that's not freaking country music. If they will play it on a soft rock workstation, it's not fucking country music, okay? I don't care what you say. So I like the TTM country music, man. Once again, that's me. That's who I am. I love country music. Country music is my first, second, third, and sometimes fourth favorite type of music. So that's that. And the last thing that I could think of off the top of my head, I made this little list, and it took me about 37 seconds to write it. So I'm sure there's some more that I'm missing, but I hope this guys kind of gives you an insight on why I do what I do. The Expos, Marlins, and Pilots, the Seattle Pilots, 8x10s. God darn, I'm sorry, guys. The Expos. Back when, this goes back to my youth, when the Expos would come to Houston, when they still played in the Astrodome, dude, the Expos were so shitty, dude. And you guys that graph Major League Baseball, y'all know typically the shitty teams are like the best signers, typically. And man, the Expos, like you could get a team ball done in one day before batting practice, not after the game, and not catching them as they're coming to the stadium. No, I'm talking by the time the gates open to the game starts, you could get a team ball done majority of the time. And that's back in the day when Vladimir Guerrero was signing like a madman. So I always loved to go to the Astros games when the Marlins were playing, man, because I knew I would just rake, man. I would just kill it. And honestly, it's the same reason with the Marlins. I remember when the Marlins were an expansion team, I believe it was in '96, I believe. Man, those dudes fucking sucked. At least in my opinion. And man, they grafted their ass off when they came to town. In the Seattle Pilots, I'll tell you why I did these guys. This team has always intrigued me, man. And I know more than most about baseball history, different players, all kinds of stuff. I kind of like to study stuff like that. The Seattle Pilots are one team I can tell you that I have never spent 5 seconds to look up. Where'd they go? Why'd they leave? Who was on their team? So that night that I was getting the team photos off Google Images, I seen a Seattle Pilots picture, and I was like, "Oh shit, dude!" I'm like, "I'm gonna get one of these." So I found a better picture I like, and I'm like, "I'm just gonna get this mother effer jam packed with ex Seattle Pilots," and I'm gonna start just doing my research, and learning what that team was all about and where'd they go and all that bullshit. And then NASCAR. I'm not going to dabble into NASCAR too much. I'm actually pretty new into NASCAR, like 2 years. So that's that. I like NASCAR because, those dudes are fan-friendly, man. Those people, most of them, are like good old Americans, man. I don't want to sound like cheesy or nothing, but a lot of them dudes are just good people, man. You go to the track and you say, "Oh, hey, so-and-so," and a lot of times they're like, "Hey, man." They're just people. A lot of them haven't forgot where they came from, Most of them are racing on dirt tracks the day before they go run the big race, where the grand prize is like freaking $250. So, if that isn't the working man, I don't know what the fuck is. So that's that, man. That's why my collecting is all over the place. It's because I'm kind of all over the place. I respect and I kind of envy the dudes that can pigeonhole or can bullseye one PC. Man, dude, if I had just a Houston Texans PC, holy bejesus, it would be effing amazing as much money as I spend on shit. But I can't. That's not me. So the only thing I can suggest is collect you, man. Don't see what other people get and be like, "Oh, that guy, man, his shit would be worth a lot of money." And don't do this crap for the money. It's not. It won't be fun, man. You might have a short go at it and it'd be exciting. So I'm getting money, but that shit won't keep you going 2, 3, 4 hours into it, TTMing off of, hey, I'm going to make some money. So that's that, guys. I'm sorry once again for these long videos. I'm getting terrible at this shit. But that's that. I hope I answered y'all's questions. And if this was garbage, I apologize for taking 15 plus minutes of your time. So until next time, adios.